Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Game News Roundup. Today we've got a handful of things to be going over, unlike last time we just kind of was more of a shorter video. This one is also being live streamed on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrunksWD. And if you enjoy these videos, hit the like button, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment if anything to add, if I miss anything or whatnot. Again, people watching live, say hi to YouTube, as this is being done live. Anyways, we got some gaming sales to go over first, and a handful of gaming news as well. PlayStation 5 has set a new PlayStation record for sales in the US for February. There were more PlayStation 5 sold in February, in the US specifically, we don't know about anywhere else in the world yet, than any PlayStation ever has in the February month. That means it outsold even the best PlayStation 2 month in February, which is, you know, PlayStation 2, the best-selling console of all time. So, it's safe to say the PlayStation 5 is starting to close the gap with, the PlayStation 4, as it has been tracking behind the PS4, but last couple months, that gap is starting to shrink. And it looks like March sales are even going to be even better than February, though we'll see when the data comes in. But, yeah, PlayStation 5 set a new record for PlayStation console sales in the US in the month of February, according to Matt Piscatella, who works at Circana, formerly known as NPD. I'll probably say both the names, but I still think of it as NPD, who's the executive director and video game industry analyst. So yeah, he was asked, did the PS5 set a new unit record for the PlayStation brand in February? And thinking PS2 2005 is a record, and Matt said for an individual PlayStation platform, yes. Which does mean there might be a February where, like, I don't know, PS2 plus PS3 plus PSP all combined sold more than the PS5 did by itself, which, you know, unsurprising. But yeah, so the PS5 individual console set a record for PlayStation, which means stock is really improving. Sales have really skyrocketed. We're basically seeing what looks like holiday sales, November and December sales, but it's February and March. So yeah, if you've been looking to get a PS5, you'll probably be able to walk into any store that sells consoles, and you'll see PS5s in stock. They're no longer selling out like this, because the stock was so low. And with this data, we have posted, or I have done, our estimates for the Americas. Americas being, just go here, US plus Canada and Latin America all combined. Again, the PS5 was the best-selling console in the Americas for February, with 652,000 units sold to bring PS5's estimated lifetime sales in the Americas to 15.26 million units. The Nintendo Switch lagging well behind the PS5, about 380,000 units sold, bringing its lifetime sales to 47.5 million units. And the Series X and S comes in third place with about 317,000 units, or just a bit under half of PS5 sales were for the Americas, to bring its lifetime sales to 12.12 million units, again, in the Americas. And the PS4 sold 3,600 units, estimated to bring its lifetime sales to 41.56 million units in the Americas. And now looking at generation on generation, so PS5 versus the same month for the PS4, and Series X and S versus the same month for the Xbox One. Again, these are all based on our estimates, based on the data we do have available to us, and adjustments do happen as more data becomes available to us. But yeah, PS5 compared to the same month for the PS4 is up by nearly 217,000 units. So in the Americas alone, PS5 has closes the gap with the PS4 by nearly 217,000 units. The Series X and S was just a hair ahead of the Xbox One in the Americas, looking at the data we have available, by just over 33,000 units. And year-on-year sales, here's the crazy thing. PS5 sales compared to the same month a year ago are up by 494,000 units, or 314% year-on-year. 314% increase is over 4 times higher than it was last year. Stock was that low last year, and stock is that crazy this year that you're seeing these huge percent increases year on year. It's been similar increases in UK, mainland Europe, Japan and whatnot. We're seeing these huge increases year on year with PS5 sales. Nintendo Switch sales are down by 148,000 units, or about 28% year on year, which, considering how old the Switch is, it's not a surprise that sales are down year on year. It's to be expected. And I expect sales to continue to be down year on year from here on out, other than maybe when Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom comes up, we might see sales down less year on year, maybe flat, because Nintendo did announce a Switch OLED Zelda limited edition, which we'll get into that later in this video. And Xbox Series X and S sales year on year are down about 13,000 units, about 4% year on year, which not great. That's Xbox sales with how old it is. Sales being down are not great. I wouldn't be surprised if sales are flat or down again in March. And we'll see what Starfield does. As I've been saying, Starfield is the real test on how much it's going to do to Xbox sales, as long as there's stock available. Apparently, Series X stock has been absolutely atrocious. I don't know what the heck Microsoft is doing, but this amount of Series X stock is looking as bad as PS5 sales were. Stock-wise, sorry, not PS5 stock was like a year ago. Not worse at this point. And PS4 sales are down 18,000 or 83% year on year. At this point, PS4 is just what stock is available is what's being sold. Month-on-month sales. So from January to February, PS5 sales are I'm realizing that it should be top. That should say up. Excuse me. That should say are up by over 158,000 units. Switch sales are up by over 48,000 units, and Series X and S sales are up by over 8,000 units. In 2023, year-to-date, PS5 has sold an estimated 1.15 million units. The Nintendo Switch has sold 0.71 million units, and the Series X and S has sold 0.63 million units. And again, 2023 year-to-date just being January plus February at this point. So we've got PS5 decently in the lead, Switch a bit ahead of the Series X and S. Yeah, and breaking down here, again, in the U.S., our estimates, we got about 550,000 for the PS5, 320,000 for the Switch, 265,000 for the Series X and S, again, for February estimates. And then if you want to check this out, links will be below in the description if you want to check out all of the data of our estimates for February in the Americas. And if you're wondering about worldwide, they should be up in the next day or two, if you're watching this when this comes out. More sales. Resident Evil 4 Remake sold over 3 million units in 2 days, and the Resident Evil series franchise has now sold over 135 million units as of December 31st, 2022. So Capcom Resident Evil franchise features survival horror games in which players utilize a variety of weapons and other items to escape terrifying situations. Cumulative shipments of the games in the series now exceed 135 million units. Since the first debuted in 1996, now more than 27 years later, continuous support from the passionate fan base across the globe makes it Capcom's flagship game series. So Resident Evil 4 sold really well, over 3 million units sold in just 2 days. And Sega has also announced Sonic Frontiers has topped 3 million units sold. This was announced about a week ago. And this figure is up from 2.9 million units at the end of December. So from the end of December to early March, we're talking about 100,000 units sold. Over 100,000 units sold. So yeah. And also, if you're wanting to get a PlayStation 5, and if you want God of War Ragnarok, there is a deal going on here. You can get a PlayStation 5 bundle with God of War Ragnarok for $510. The base PS5 is normally $500. So basically, you're getting God of War Ragnarok for $10. The bundle also was originally priced at $560. So it is a $50 discount. So originally, you would save $10 on God of War Ragnarok with this bundle. But now you're saving $60 on this bundle, which is available on PlayStation Direct, Amazon, Walmart, and Best Buy, while supplies last. So if you want a PS5 and God of War Ragnarok, this is probably the deal for you, because I don't expect to see any actual PlayStation 5 price cuts anytime soon. Let's see. Bobby Kotick, Activision Blizzard CEO, has sent an email to employees, which has been posted online. He did say Sony's behavior trying to block Microsoft's Activision Blizzard deal has been disappointing. However, it will not affect the relationship between the two companies long term. So Kotick, in his email, said the good news is regulators who initially had concerns about console competition are starting to better understand our industry. The data and evidence Microsoft has been presenting are tilting the scale. You may have seen statements from Sony, including an argument that if this deal goes through, Microsoft could release deliberately buggy versions of our games on PlayStation. We all know our passionate players would be the first to hold Microsoft accountable for keeping its promises of content and quality parity. And all of us who work so hard to deliver the best games in our industry care too deeply about our players to ever launch subpar versions of our games. Sony has even admitted that they aren't actually concerned about a Call of Duty agreement. They would just like to prevent our merger from happening. This is obviously disappointing behavior from a partner for almost 30 years. But we will not allow Sony's behavior to affect our long-term relationship. PlayStation players know we will continue to deliver the best games possible on Sony platforms as we have since the launch of PlayStation. We will continue to have discussions with European and UK regulators until a decision date, which we expect in the coming months. You may have also seen today that the Japan Fair Trade Commission found that the deal wouldn't harm competition and unconditionally cleared our transaction. We will update you again when we have more information to share. So yeah, the deal has been approved in Japan, Chile, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, and Serbia so far. Obviously, US, UK, European Union are the big three we're waiting on. I guess also China. But, yeah. And deadline-wise, European Union, we won't hear from them until, well, the latest will be May 22nd. Their deadline's May 22nd. And I want to say it's towards the end of April for the UK. And the FTC, I don't quite remember the deadline is. I'm not sure if they really have a deadline per se. So, let's see. Oh yeah, E3 news. It's probably dead. I won't be surprised if it's canceled. Or even if it does happen, it's going to be not terribly exciting. As we already knew, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony were not going to be attending. Ubisoft, who said they were going to attend, has backed out and now released a statement saying they do not plan on attending anymore. E3 has fostered unforgettable moments across the industry throughout the year, said a Ubisoft spokesperson. While we initially intended to have an official E3 presence, we made the subsequent decision to move in a different direction. And we'll be holding a Ubisoft Forward live event on 12th June in Los Angeles. We look forward to sharing more details with our players very soon. So yeah, Microsoft, they're not going to be on the show floor. They're not officially attending E3. Microsoft is going to be holding their usual June showcase at the same time as E3. Just won't be part of E3. It looks like Ubisoft is doing the exact same thing as Microsoft. They'll be holding the usual showcase, not far from E3, but it won't be part of E3. Well, there hasn't been, I think there's no E3 last year, and the last E3 was like a digital only. It just kind of seemed kind of pointless. Sony hasn't attended since either 2018 or 2019. Nintendo's been doing their own digital directs, but they're usually on the show floor with their Nintendo Treehouse. I don't know what's going on. Why Microsoft is not going to be on the show floor, and neither is Nintendo at this point. All these companies are like, oh yeah, we care for E3, it's a big thing with the gaming industry, and then they just don't really bother going. So at this point, I don't know. At this point, we don't know anyone who's even attending. Although we'll get into this a bit more in just... Actually, you know what? Let's get into it right now. Sega and Tencent have also confirmed they will be skipping E3 2023. So yeah, Sega statement. After careful consideration, we decided to not participate in E3 as an exhibitor. We look forward to sharing more information on announcing and unannounced projects in the future. Also, Devolver Digital, who has never actually officially attended E3, will also not be attending. They usually hold their own showcase, but it's never part of E3. And Tencent also has said they will not be attending. Tencent being, well, one of the biggest gaming companies in the world, and they're based out of China, if you don't know who they are. So yeah, IGN, who reported on this, basically suggesting that even that big, yeah, well, if you've ever seen their showcases, Dave, they're interesting. It's acting, and it's just, like, very interesting, to say the least. Like, very entertaining. Probably the most entertaining showcases you'll ever watch is Devolver Digital. Either that or you'll completely hate it. But, So yeah, an IGN reporting, individuals in publishing and PR who typically have knowledge of event strategies have told IGN their concerns that E3 2023 will even happen. Many say they haven't heard of anyone else attending and feel there has been a lack of communication from ESA and ReedPop. So yeah, ReedPop, who does PAX, the PAX East, PAX West, and all those, they've taken over this year to run E3, and yeah. One source says that following Ubisoft confirming, no longer attend, says no possible way this show can even happen, says one source. ReedPop is organizing E3 this year, supposedly set to take place in LA from June 13th to the 16th. And some of the sources have said there is a lot of confusion surrounding the event this year. In years past, they already have their plans in place by March. Well, this isn't even the case this year, so they don't have any plans. They don't know what's going on. And IGN also claims more publishers are planning to skip E3. However, they have yet to make any announcements whoever these publishers are. E3 might be dead. I don't know what's going on. It's just most of the people get the gaming news online. They don't attend these showcases or whatever, these E3 in person. I know Gamescom is huge. Tokyo Game Show is huge. I know, like, Comic-Con usually has some gaming stuff. PAX usually has some gaming stuff, but it's not just gaming. So, I don't know what's up. A couple more things. EA! Electronic Arts is laying off 6% of its staff as part of a restructure. It's always part of a restructure, right? Also, any estimate of what Xbox sold in February worldwide? Those figures will be out either Thursday or Friday. I like to spread out the estimates, so it's not all like in one day. But yeah, so either Thursday or Friday, or tomorrow or the next day, as today is Wednesday. EA, as the end of March 2022, had 12,100 employees worldwide, which means about 775 employees are going to be laid off. Roughly 775 employees are going to be laid off by EA. EA CEO Andrew Wilson said the company is operating from a position of strength and will focus on developing games with large communities based on its biggest IP. As we drive greater focus across our portfolio, we're moving away from projects that do not contribute to our strategy, reviewing our real estate footprints, and restructuring some of our teams. This is the most difficult part, and we are working through the process with the utmost care and respect as you lay off nearly 800 workers. Where we can, we are providing opportunities for our colleagues to transition onto other projects. Where that's not possible, we are providing severance pay and additional benefits such as healthcare and career transition services. Layoffs suck. The gaming industry, tech industry, entertainment industry has been laying off. Every company's been laying off hundreds or thousands of workers. Tens of thousands. Amazon has laid off like tens of thousands of employees. I was thinking of someone else. What? Like all the big tech entertainment companies are laying off thousands of workers. Even smaller ones, hundreds of workers or whatever. Just the way things are right now. Lots and lots of people getting laid off in recent months. And last thing to go over, Nintendo announced a Nintendo Switch OLED, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Edition. It will launch on April 28th for $360. So a few weeks before the actual game comes out, the limited edition Switch OLED includes the Hylian crest from the Legend of Zelda series on the front of the dock, as you can see it right here of what it looks like. So if you're looking to gain a Switch OLED, for an extra $10, a normal Switch OLED is about $350, so this is $10 more, but you get Zelda themed on it. Also, Nintendo Switch Pro controller also be available for $7,500, and a Switch carrying case themed around Tears of the Kingdom will be also available for $25. And Tears of the Kingdom comes out on May 12th for the Nintendo Switch. So that is going to do it for the gaming news of today. If you've enjoyed this, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back soon for some more gaming news and sales figures.